Previously, all life belongs to one of three domains: bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. While we aren't sure whether bacteria or archaea were first arose, we know that the prokaryotic cells were the first types of cells found on Earth. The oldest fossils on Earth are likely cyanobacteria, dating back to 3.5 to 3.8 billion years ago. It is likely that life is much older than that, but due to the size of other bacterial groups, it is likely they were unable to fossilize well. Cyanobacterial cells are large in comparison to other prokaryotes. Let's begin by reviewing the characteristics of eukaryotic organisms. Keep in mind that some eukaryotic groups have lost some of these features due to natural selection, but nevertheless, ancestral eukaryotes have all features mentioned. First, is eukaryotic cells have a nucleus to protect DNA. The nucleus has its own membrane called an envelope and pores to allow certain molecules into and out of the cell. Most eukaryotes have a mitochondria to produce ATP. Some have evolved a reduced or lost mitochondria over time. The cytoskeleton of a eukaryote consists of microtubules and microfilaments used to provide cellular shape and provide a place for organelles to attach and move around the cell. Ancestral eukaryotes possess cilia and flagella. These features have been lost on some eukaryotic organisms. Although flagella are found in bacteria, eukaryotic flagella are made of cytoskeletal elements. Eukaryotic DNA is linear in shape and wraps around histone proteins like string on a spool. And since eukaryotic cells possess nuclei, they undergo mitosis when the cells begin to divide. Eukaryotic cells introduce sexual reproduction by meiosis, which develop separate haploid nuclei, later used to develop a diploid cell. This is important in ensuring genetic diversity with each generation. And finally, ancestral eukaryotes possess cell walls to protect their cells. These features, of course, were lost on animals, allowing animals to have more free movement. It is likely that eukaryotic organisms evolved from a large prokaryotic organism that took up several smaller bacteria. This is the idea behind endosymbiosis, which occurs when one cell engulfs another. The engulfed cell survives, and both benefit from the relationship. Endosymbiosis has been observed in nature with current eukaryotic organisms. So we think it occurred by the nucleus forming by enfoldings of the plasma membrane, producing a separate membrane surrounding the genetic material. The membrane then became the nuclear envelope. The endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi bodies were also likely made from enfoldings of the plasma membrane, since these and the nuclear envelope are made of phospholipids. Certain organelles were likely formed from bacteria. The mitochondria was made from a bacterium that was aerobic, consuming oxygen. This would later be used solely to make ATP. The chloroplast was made from a cyanobacterium, as it contains the necessary components for photosynthesis. In our next video, we will look at the most ancestral of all eukaryotes, the protist.